Greetings, diners, and welcome to another edition of the Cooking Zone here on the Doomstead Diner. And this morning we are having another one-egg vegan-friendly omelet, which I already did an episode on this in the first season of the Cooking Zone, but I'm going to be redoing several of those videos in one way or another in this season because I've improved on the overall environment for cooking, and I can do, I think, a better job of demonstrating what you need to do a good cook, especially since I'm going to be using once again the Section 8 cooking apparatus of the hot plate rather than my stove over there for this cook. And you know, as I've tried to emphasize before, this is a very important item to have in your bug out package, and extremely useful, lightweight, and you can do most stovetop forms of cooking with it. Just as you would with a regular stove. It has limitations, of course, but for the most part it works pretty well. Alright, so now it's time to get on with the cook, and I'm simplifying this video a little bit from the one I did previously to it, and I haven't published yet because I haven't done all the editing necessary on a basic trucker breakfast. So this one should be a lot easier to produce, and also it should be a lot shorter. Shorter, I should say. So, like I said, let's get to the cook. Okay. Once again, this is a one-egg omelet because I don't eat very much. And also, I will say that it's actually harder to cook in very small quantities like this than it is in more normal-sized quantities. 2-egg omelets and 3-egg omelets are easier to do than a 1-egg omelet. And also prefacing this video with the fact that this omelet is going to be different than the one that I did in the first season, which was just a plain cheese omelet. This one is actually going to have veggies in it, but it is all vegetarian. There's no meat going in this, no bacon, no sausage, none of that stuff. Everything in it is vegan friendly. Okay, so what are the ingredients that are going in this omelet? I'll try to do them more or less in the order that I'm going to put them into the pan. And the first one that will go in is butter. All right, and this is Land O'Lakes butter. You know, I could have bought the generic butter, and it's basically the same, but the Land O'Lakes was on sale, and it came in at about the same price. So I bought Land O'Lakes this time. So the butter will go in first, and then after that, I'm going to be putting in separately. I'm going to do each of these veggies separately because they're kind of going to be used in different ways, and also I like them to different levels of doneness in the omelet. The first one to go in will be asparagus. Okay, those look good, right? And that's just 2 asparagus spears cut up into small pieces. And so out of one bunch of asparagus, if you're just making omelets, you can make a lot of them for one person. And I have some tips on keeping asparagus good and keeping it around, which I will pass on in due time. So those will go in first, and they'll get skilleted up or sauteed up, and then I'll put them off to rest, and then after them will go mushrooms, okay? And these are 2 small button mushrooms, okay, which are sliced up, and they will shrink in size quite a bit before they go in the omelet. And both the asparagus and the mushrooms will be inside the omelet. After that comes garlic, and in this case I'm not bothering to chop it up myself. I bought a jar of pre-chopped up garlic. Okay, it makes your life easier. And the garlic will go in, and onions will go in to the pan, and I'm going to cook those at a fairly low heat so that I get a kind of translucent quality to the onions. I don't want them getting crispified and browned. I want them soft, and I want them to impart the flavor of the onion into the butter that's going to be there. And then after that, now we're ready for the most important part of the omelet, the 1-egg omelet, which is the egg. Okay, and as I mentioned before, with this particular set of eggs, they are generic factory farm produced eggs. They're not organic free range eggs. These guys come in like 1/3 of the price of the organic free range eggs, and I just didn't feel like spending the extra money for this time. Okay, and so then that's going to go in, and I'm going to add to it this time. Last time I didn't do this, stuff that I like. I'm going to be putting in a little bit of half and half, and a little bit of Alaskan glacial spring water, okay, which is some of the best fresh water still available anywhere in the world, and will be for a while, because those glaciers are going to take a while to melt off, certainly longer than my lifetime. All right, so it is now time to get started on cooking up this omelet, and I'm going to probably shut off or clip out various parts of this cook to shorten it up, because I don't want it to be that long, okay? And I'll show you the important parts, though. All right, so first thing we got to do is get this guy heated up. And also, I'm going to need a couple of devices that I don't have on me right now. Where the heck am I going to find those? Okay, our hot plate now has the juice flowing into it from some electric power plant somewhere around here, and flowing through the wires to my digs, and so I can use it. You don't have power for these things, then they're useless. But at the moment, it's still available. And one thing about this type of apparatus, as opposed to some others like the Cuisinart, it takes quite a bit of juice. You can't run one of these on a small solar power array. So, okay, we're going to add to it now the asparagus. Okay, and as I said before, there are just 2 spears of asparagus in here, because this is only a 1-egg omelet, and I can't fit a whole lot of asparagus in there. especially not adding the mushrooms. Okay, and did I forget? I think I did. What else has got to go on the interior of an omelet? Cheese, huh? And this is the same cheese, the same Colby Jack cheese that I used before, and is quite old. It went with me on my trip with Eddie, my friend, in the RV, zipping around Alaska back in September, and it's still good. You know, these packaged cheese products from Kraft, they apparently last forever. And this is not even sealed. If it was sealed, God knows how long it would last. I don't know. Okay. Now, I don't like my asparagus very well done. I like it to be al dente. So this has got to come out of there. Get this turned down before it gets too hot. Oh, God. The hard part of cooking for a cripple. You need two hands quite often. You don't realize it until you're actually without one of them, or it only functions marginally. And that's a pain in the ass. Let's get that last little guy out of there that's hiding. This is another kind of spork, but in this case it is all on one end. It's plastic, and it comes free when you go to a lot of different types of establishments, fast food places and whatnot. And I like free. And plus, I don't dispose of these things. Really, I wash them. Or I have my cripple helpers wash them these days. So they last me a long time. And I don't make quite so much waste. I don't generate so much waste as some other folks do. And I recommend trying to keep the amount of waste you produce down as much as you can. I save all sorts of stuff. I reuse the little plastic baggies that you use to, save your food. And you see how fast the mushrooms get cooked up. They're already ready. All right, so now we got to go through the same torture of getting the mushrooms out of the pan. And let's see, can we invent a better way to do this? Let's try just dumping them. That might work. Oh, that works way better. Oh, that was so much better. All right, now one thing is we're going to put in the onions. I'm going to add a little more butter because some of it went into the resting dish with the mushrooms to start with the garlic and the onions. So let me get some more butter into this. Butter. Oh boy, it's still pretty hot. And that's one of the things I don't like about electric cooking apparatus, is that the heat on it doesn't react very quickly. You can't adjust the temperature on whatever it is you're cooking very fast, and like a gas stove. And that's true not just for the electric hot plate, but you know, the electric ranges that you get in many places, in the apartments, houses. You know, I am not a fan of that. I much prefer to be cooking on natural gas, or even on a fire, an open grill, you know. I can control that better than I can control one of these electrics. Okay, let's get some garlic in there. Not too much, because it's only a 1-egg omelet, right? That's actually probably too much, but alright. I like garlic. Garlic's very good for keeping away the zombies. And one of my rules of cooking, watch your fingers, is you can never, you can never have too much garlic in your meal, or too much garlic in a day. It's very healthy stuff. It's got a lot of good vitamins and stuff in it, and it really enhances the flavor of whatever you're cooking. Now, I seem to have managed to get this at the right temperature for now, at least. And it's not, you know, screaming hot, and I'm getting bubbling, and I'm getting a fairly slow cook on the onions and the garlic. And so it should impart a nice flavor into this butter, which the egg will go into in a little bit. And they're a little softer. Okay, and I tried turning up the heat a little bit. And it's looking pretty good, and I dug up a smaller spatula because that big spatula just doesn't fit in this pan size very well. Okay, I'm going to give it about another minute, and then I'll add some egg, and we'll get looking like an omelet. Now, like I said before, I am the onions and the garlic, they're going to be on the outside of the omelet, and the mushrooms and the asparagus, they're going to be on the inside with the cheese. And that's, you know, kind of the way I like it. It's just my own style, and you can, you know, do your own style, whatever that is, okay? And also, I'm gonna, once again, I'm gonna do the whole thing in the pan. I'm not gonna mix up the egg and the milk and water in a separate bowl. I'll do that, you know, I'm doing that mainly to reduce the workload, okay? I don't want to have another dish to clean if I can avoid it. Okay, and the egg is now in there. Okay, and it's starting to cook, and we got to add a little half and half. If I can get it open, not too much, because it's only 1 egg, and a little Alaskan glacial spring water. That was a little more than I wanted. Okay. And now what you're going to want to do is keep smushing it around so you get an even cook to the egg, and you don't end up browning one side too fast. Okay, you wanna get it so that it's congealing, getting solidified, and even, you know, more or less, over the whole pan. You want it smooth. You want it to wrap around your veggies nicely, hopefully. You know, we'll find out if that happens or not. And so in this case, to fold it over, I'm going to use a spatula, and I should be able to fold it over fairly well, I hope, and make it look nice on the first try. You can, if it doesn't come out like just right, you can fix it up. So it does. Alright, it's looking good. Now we'll add our asparagus to the inside. And we'll add our mushrooms to the inside. Get in there. Doesn't want to get eaten. Was born sporulated to be eaten. I don't know why it would refuse. And finally, the important ingredient of all omelets, the cheese. And like I said, this is cheddar jack. Ancient cheddar jack. Well aged, I guess you could say. And I think we're almost ready to fold it. Got to get under it.